Think about the last time you sat down to study, and how many screens you're using, and how many applications were opening at the same time. A 2020 study by the Ryoja and colleagues published on the Journals of Technology and Behavior found that the more media used simultaneously, the weaker your sustained attention becomes, and it gets harder to stop. As students, we all want to slide less and achieve more. But in this video, I will show exactly why multitasking is making it impossible and what we can do about it. So good evening, everyone. For preparing the speech, I have studied the research published in the Journals of the Technology and Behavior and also Journals of the Occupational and Organizational Psychology. So what I show you today is all grounded with the scientific evidence. Multitasking is not a skill, it's a habit that silently costs your focus, your time, and your ability to truly rest. And to convince you of that, I will take you through three things today. The first, the problem multitasking is creating, and second, the cause behind it, and finally, I have two concrete solutions for you can start using the right way. So first, let's begin with the problem. The problem is more widespread than most of us realize. The 2000 study by Ryoja and her colleagues found that in today's digital and mobile media landscape, using two or more media simultaneously has become the most common form of the media use. A testing front will study about the internet we are watching on a video. It's a typical habit for most of us. And what our brain do in this moment is not what we think. It's not actually do the two things at once. In this study, they show that a constant switch requires the brain to repeatedly relocate its limited attention resources. And every single switch has a cost. Now you might be thinking, so what? Everyone multitasks. What is the real harm? So here is the answer. Ryoja and her colleagues confirm in their study that the heavier minimal tasker that should lower sustained attention on their cognitive tasks, and reported with some attention problems in their daily life. Importantly, this finding was rapidly across the 3 samples and 2 types of measurements reported by the Ryoja and her colleagues, so the result is robust, not a coincidence or one finding. And in this study, they also show that the higher multitaskers show higher motor impulsivity and sensation seeking, and make it even harder to resist the distractions and refocus. So now we have seen what the media multitasking doing to us. But the question remains, why does the brain keep falling into the trap? So that brings us to a cause. According to a 2020 study by Ryoja and colleagues, what feels like multitasking is actually the rapid task switching, and each switching forces the brain to disengage from one set of rules and re-engage with the other. And every time it does that, it draws from the same limited pool of the cognitive resources, a pool that is drained with every switch. So in a study, they show that media multitasking, like testing finds when you study, involves the most frequent and cognitive cost form of the switching in everyday life. And it gets worse. It's not just the during its moments. The repeated switching has the long-term effect on our behavior. Ryoja and colleagues show in a study that the more someone media multitasking, the more their cognitive control weakens, confirmed by the self-reported attention problems and performance on the cognitive tasks. And in the study, they identified that the higher media multitasker are linked to higher motor impulsivity. So that means your brain has become less able to suppress the urge to switch. So this is why the habit is so difficult to break, because the switch itself awakens every control needed to stop the switch. It's like a circle that fits itself. So we know the problem, and we understand the cause behind it. So for the parts that matter most, what we can actually do about this? So let's look at the solution. The good news is that since we know exactly what causes the problem and where to can win, so I have 2 solutions for you, one for the cognitive side and one for the behavior side. Ryoja and colleagues concluded in their study that it is how many media used simultaneously, not how long we use them. Let's damage the cognitive control, so the solution is simple in principle use 1 million at once. In practice, that means close every unrelated tabs and put your phone in a room or just open one application while you study. In this study, they explain that by removing the opportunity to switch, you eliminate the cognitive cost at the source. So that allows the brain to begin rebuilding your sustained refocus. But it's not enough. Even though with one screen open, if your mind is still full of the unfinished tasks, the urge to switch is still pulled at you. So let's look at a second solution. A field experiment by the Woodigan and colleagues published in the 2023 Journals of the Occupational and Organizational Psychology found that weekly planning, setting goals, and break the tasks into clear steps significantly reduce the unfinished tasks and the simulation, improve the cognitive flexibility. Woodigan and her colleagues explain that when tasks are broken into the clear steps and take up one at once, your brain experiments what we call the cognitive resolution. It no longer keeps you pulling back to the unfinished tasks. So in the study, they found that the planning behavior directly reduced the rumination and the urge to switch. So with the clear planning, you no longer need to switch to feel in control. In conclusion, multitasking weakens our attention and traps us into the circle of the impulsivity. But it is a habit we can change starting now. We have found the problem and we understood the cause behind it. And now you have two concrete solutions. So I want to challenge you guys to do two things this week. The first, the next time you study, just open one application, close every unrelated tabs, and give 100% potential on one task. And second, spend 5 minutes writing down your tasks for this week and break them into a clear step. And that take out to begin. So I asked you at the start, how many screens were you using the last time you studied? Imagine just use one, and imagine what your mind could do with that sentence. It's not a dream, it's a decision. So starting from these moments after watching the video, and change and stop multitasking. Thank you for listening. That's my speech.